Rain blurred the city into 1,000 trembling lights as the black luxury car slowed outside the cafe, and in that quiet, broken moment, a lonely CEO prepared himself for another disappointment he did not know would change his entire life. His hands rested on the steering wheel, steady yet tired, carrying the invisible weight of success that never filled the hollow spaces inside him. Years of achievements, headlines, and applause had failed to heal the loneliness that followed him home every night. This blind date was supposed to be a simple escape from silence, a polite attempt at companionship arranged by well-meaning friends who believed love could be scheduled like a business meeting. He did not expect heartbreak, memories, or destiny to collide under the cold rain that night. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the magic of unexpected connections, please take a moment to like, comment, share this story with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel for more heartfelt journeys like this one. Your support helps these stories reach hearts that may be quietly waiting for light. Inside the cafe, warm lights glowed against foggy windows, and the aroma of coffee mixed with soft music created an illusion of comfort. The CEO entered with quiet confidence, his tailored coat carrying the scent of rain and long days. He took his seat, scanning the room with polite anticipation. Minutes passed, then more, until the chair across from him was filled by a woman whose nervous posture and worn clothing immediately signaled a gap between their worlds. Her eyes held uncertainty and fatigue, and her hands carried the roughness of someone who had worked too hard for too little. The introduction was awkward, and the atmosphere grew heavy as expectations clashed. The mismatch became painfully obvious. A misunderstanding over values, lifestyle, and assumptions slowly turned the air cold. An embarrassment crept into the woman's expression like a quiet storm. Her dignity trembled under invisible judgment, and without warning she stood and left in silent tears, disappearing into the rain-soaked night. The cafe fell back into its gentle rhythm, but something inside the CEO shifted. The empty chair across from him reflected not only the failed date, but a deeper discomfort he could not ignore. He felt the sting of regret, not because the meeting failed, but because he sensed pain he had unintentionally contributed to. His life had taught him how to read contracts, balance sheets, and negotiations, but not fragile human hearts. He paid the bill and stepped back into the rain, unsure why his feet followed the direction the woman had taken. Perhaps guilt guided him, or perhaps something unseen pulled him forward through wet streets glowing under streetlights like scattered stars. A few blocks away, beneath the dim shelter of a bus stop, he noticed her kneeling beside a small cardboard box. Rain soaked her thin jacket as she carefully fed stray kittens, shielding them from the cold with her own body. The tears he had witnessed earlier mixed with raindrops on her face, but her expression now carried tenderness, responsibility, and quiet courage. The sight struck him deeply. This was not weakness, this was strength surviving under hardship. Something familiar stirred inside him, an echo of distant childhood afternoons when he had known warmth without wealth, and love without conditions. The way she brushed wet hair from her face, the gentle curve of her smile despite exhaustion, triggered a memory he had buried long ago. As he approached, recognition slowly unfolded in his mind like an old photograph coming back into color. This was the girl who once shared broken crayons and muddy shoes with him in a small neighborhood where dreams were made of hope rather than money. She had been the one who shared her lunch when his family struggled, who believed in him before ambition hardened his heart. Life had separated them when his family moved away, and time had erased her from his daily thoughts, but not from the quiet corners of his soul. Now, fate had returned her not as a childhood dream, but as a struggling single mother and a nanny fighting to survive with dignity. Her life had not been kind. She had married young, believing love would protect her from hardship, only to be left alone with a child and mounting responsibilities when promises collapsed. She worked long hours caring for other people's children, while worrying about her own future every night. Bills stacked up like silent threats, and exhaustion became her constant companion. Yet compassion remained her strongest currency, visible in the way she cared for animals in the rain despite having so little herself. She carried a heart too big for her fragile circumstances, and that alone spoke louder than any luxury ever could. The CEO stood there watching quietly, humbled by the contrast between their worlds and the invisible bridge connecting their past. Guilt softened into empathy, and empathy grew into something deeper. He realized how empty his success felt without meaning, how isolated his penthouse felt compared to the warmth she carried even in poverty. The power he commanded in boardrooms felt insignificant compared to the resilience she showed under streetlights. That moment awakened a truth he had avoided. Fulfillment was not measured by wealth, but by connection, kindness, and purpose. Days turned into weeks, and destiny continued weaving their lives closer. He found ways to cross paths with her again, not as a powerful executive, but as a human being trying to reconnect with forgotten humility. He learned about her daily struggles, her fears for her child's future, and her quiet dreams that still survived despite disappointments. He witnessed her patience with children, her gentle discipline, and her endless sacrifices. Slowly, admiration replaced curiosity and respect transformed into affection. He also confronted his own wounds, the loneliness he had hidden behind achievements, and the emotional walls built after years of focusing only on growth and control. Yet, the journey was not without challenges. Society's expectations, class differences, and his corporate image created invisible barriers. His world expected perfection, status, and image-driven choices, while her world revolved around survival, sincerity, and emotional honesty. Doubt whispered questions about whether two lives shaped by such different realities could truly blend. He wrestled with fear of vulnerability, while she feared disappointment and abandonment once more. Both carried scars that demanded patience and trust to heal. The turning point arrived quietly rather than dramatically. It happened when he saw her comforting her child after a long day, offering reassurance without material promises, teaching resilience through example rather than words. He recognized the kind of parent he wished he had been raised by, the kind of love that money could never buy. Something inside him shifted permanently. He realized love was not about impressing or possessing, but about standing beside someone through storms without needing applause. His priorities rearranged themselves naturally, like a compass finally pointing true north. He began supporting her not as a savior, but as a partner who respected her strength and independence. He helped create stability without stealing her dignity, offering opportunities rather than control. In return, she brought warmth into his silent life, teaching him how to slow down, laugh genuinely, and appreciate small joys that success had once blinded him to. Their bond grew from shared memories, mutual respect, and healing vulnerability rather than fantasy or convenience. As their connection deepened, the CEO also reconnected with his own humanity. He restructured his work-life balance, invested in community projects, and used his influence to create positive change rather than personal glory. His transformation inspired those around him, proving that leadership rooted in compassion carried greater impact than power driven by ego. Meanwhile, she regained confidence, rebuilt her dreams, and allowed herself to trust happiness again after years of survival mode. Together, they formed a partnership grounded in empathy rather than status, resilience rather than perfection. If this story is touching your heart and reminding you that love can arrive when least expected, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe for more stories that heal and inspire. Your engagement helps keep these meaningful journeys alive for others who may need hope today. Their love did not erase the past, but it reshaped it into a foundation instead of a wound. The blind date that once felt like a disaster became the doorway to rediscovery, healing, and emotional rebirth. What began as embarrassment transformed into destiny's quiet masterpiece, proving that sometimes life must break our expectations before delivering our miracles. In the rain-soaked streets where loneliness once followed him, he now walked beside someone who understood his heart beyond titles and achievements. And in the once fragile single mother who feared abandonment, strength blossomed into confidence supported by genuine partnership. Special request. Before the story ends, please comment below what part of this journey touched your heart the most, and whether you believe destiny truly reconnects souls meant to meet again. Their story reminds us that kindness reveals character, hardship builds resilience, and love often waits patiently behind unexpected doors. Sometimes the greatest blessings arrive disguised as disappointment, guiding us toward growth rather than comfort. May this journey inspire you to look beyond appearances, value compassion over status, and remain open to the beautiful surprises life may be quietly preparing for you.